Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2022 movie titled The System. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. The film begins with a group of drug dealers preparing their products for delivery. One of them steps outside to get some food. Terry Savage is gradually closing in on him, but he is unaware of it. Terry then knocks on the door to where the rest of the gang is. Terry insists on placing the money in the bag on the table as soon as the door opens. When two drug traffickers start fighting with Terry, chaos ensues, but Terry, being a former Marine, manages to push them all away. Later, Terry walks out of the residence with a bag of cash. Police officials subsequently order Terry to surrender, thwarting all his attempts. They apprehend him and escort him to the police station for processing. Terry's credentials astounded Commissioner Clark. Terry is a true military hero, and given his experience, Clark finds it difficult to imagine he will wind up in their hands. Terry explains that after participating in the war, he returned home only to discover that he couldn't afford his own medication or food. Clark wants to help Terry. To accomplish this, he requires Terry's assistance in working covertly. Clark desires an investigation into potential human rights violations, corruption, and other criminal acts in prison. The warden's complete supervision over the region prevents everyone from entering. Furthermore, the guards are all former military, making this task even more difficult. Terry opposes the proposal. Clark says that if Terry refuses, he will face a 10-year prison sentence. If he accepts the offer, Clark agrees to set him free. Clark also tells him to do it for his daughter, who needs medical care. Terry immediately contacts his daughter and offers to do everything it takes to get her the care she needs to recover. Terry arrives in the penitentiary facility. They subject him to rigorous screening processes before escorting him to his cell. There, he finds a phone buried in a book. Clark purposefully kept this for him. This is where he can submit any proof that may implicate the warden. The following day, the harsh reality of jail life sets in. After taking too long to leave his cell during a roll call, Terry receives a hit on the leg. One of the convicts throws out Terry's meal when he insists on kneeling before him. Terry then chooses to leave the pantry and head to the basketball court. A group of prisoners immediately surround him, eager to hear his story and join them. Terry expresses his preference for solitude and declines to join their squad. Terry, sweeping the floor in the laundry area, witnesses some inmates attacking Freeway, one of the prison's leaders. He defends himself and emerges unscathed. One night, as a group of bullies beat him, Terry hears a prisoner pleading for help beside his cell. Their commander is the same person who demanded Terry to kneel before him. They then head to Terry's cell, but the former soldier is prepared for anything. Another prisoner, Bones, steps in to assist Terry. Until the jail guards arrive, they effectively eliminate the threat. Warden Lucas beats up the prisoner who started the attack. The warden then made the prisoner apologize to Terry. The warden apologizes to Terry for his ordeal. This caught him off guard, considering Commissioner Clark had warned him of the warden's cruelty. Lucas urges Terry that his priority should be to return to her daughter as soon as feasible. The warden also states that he designed the dungeon because his work might be tedious. The dungeon functions as an underground fighting ring, forcing captives to engage in combat. Becoming a fighter while in prison will help Terry return home soon. Gina, a female guard, then hands him the body gear he'll need for the bouts. Gina recognizes Terry after the former soldier and his crew rescued her from an attack in Afghanistan. Terry gets introduced his cell inmate, Bones. Bones encourages him to stay focused on the task at hand and avoid distractions from the outside world. Surviving the dungeon should be his top priority. Terry believes this is a solid start for reporting to Clark. He then informs Commissioner Clark about the prison fight. Bones shows Terry where he can train. He emphasizes the significance of training because surviving the dungeon will be a daunting task. Terry prepares himself and moves towards the dungeon. As the fight begins, he discreetly records it as proof while waiting for his turn. A boxer named Freeway stands out as he defeats two opponents with ease. It's Terry's turn to battle, where he confronts a fighter from a Mexican group. Bones tells him that his opponent's goal is to get him to the ground. As his opponent takes Terry down and thrashes him, the situation becomes easier. During a break, Bones tells him to fight back and not go down again. As soon as the opponent attempts another takedown, Terry stops and beats him, much to the joy of the crowd. Later, Freeway accuses Warden Lucas of allowing Bones to assist Terry. Lucas reveals that Bones specifically requested permission to assist Terry, citing a resemblance to a relative. Freeway assures Lucas that the prison is quiet because he enforces the laws he created. Lucas responds that he is still working on his release as promised. He also reveals that he is preparing a rematch between Freeway and another top fighter from another prison. If he wins, he will be free. Jeanette, a lawyer for Veterans National Affairs, speaks with Terry and informs him about the case in which she is representing him. She offers to fight for his freedom, but Terry is dismissive. Back at the pantry, Freeway approaches Terry and Bones. Bones tells Terry to ignore him. Bones claims that he volunteered to aid Freeway at the time, but he refused. A faster prisoner will make his next opponent harder, Bones warns him. To counteract this, Bones suggests Terry utilize raw power to overwhelm him. When fight night arrives, his opponent performs fancy movements to frighten him, but when the bell rings and he rushes at Terry, the former soldier strikes him with a powerful right hand, knocking him out cold. The announcement of Terry as the winner ignites the crowd. Later, Bones admits that he is in prison for murder. A known rapist was harassing his sister, so he hunted him down and beat him to death with his bare hands. When Bones and Terry return to the pantry, Terry becomes the center of attention. Bones urges him to watch his back because he is now a threat to Freeway, and his people will pursue him. Two of Freeway's men attack Terry while he is performing his daily cleaning chore, but he defends himself. One of them attacks Terry with a knife, prompting Gina to intervene and sustain a chest wound. The warden calls Terry in his office. The warden informs Terry that he will not fight Freeway because he has another opponent scheduled. Terry urges the warden to set up the battle because he is ready to take on Freeway. Later, the warden summons Freeway and his men at the dungeon. Freeway's recent actions, which resulted in the death of one of his guards, have upset the warden. His two guys are subsequently executed. Freeway initially denied ordering the attack on Terry, but later admitted to having done so. The warden wants him to fight Terry. Freeway initially opposed the idea, but his current situation forces him to. Back at the gym, Bones advises Terry on how to deal with Freeway's method. They then train together to prepare for the big night. Bones also encourages him to fight for his little girl, who will be overjoyed to see him again. It's fight night, and the two fighters are about to square off. Terry is initially introduced. Freeway arrives prepared. As the fight commences, Freeway's speed and agility seem to overwhelm Terry. The round concludes with Freeway receiving the better end of the exchanges. When round 2 begins, Terry can make the appropriate modifications to counter Freeway's offense. He then manages to knock him down and end the fight. Once back in his cell, Terry sends all the fight videos to the commissioner and demands his release as per the agreement. When Terry walks to the pantry for food, the other convicts admire him because he is the facility's top dog. The warden informs him that he has reached the summit of the mountain. The warden suggests that he run the institution. Terry quickly turns him down. The warden persistently guides him to a hidden facility that processes illegal substances. He wants to show Terry what he'll miss if he doesn't accept the offer. Terry steals a handful of the narcotics while he is resting on the table. The warden then takes him to the morgue, where he sees the bodies of the two convicts who attacked him and killed the female prison officer. Terry anticipates his return to his cell. The escort back to the warden's office astonishes him. To his amazement, the commissioner appears and informs him that his duty is not yet complete. Going home is not an option. Terry just learned that he has been set up. The warden and commissioner suggested that Terry work for them. It means he will represent his institution when he competes against top contestants from other prisons. Uninterested, the warden brings in Bones and tortures him in front of Terry. This forces Terry to accept the proposal. When they return to their cell, Terry and Bones organize their next plan, which involves all of the inmates. Something huge is about to happen. Terry surreptitiously meets with the defense counsel and hands her a chip holding footage of several transgressions, including illegal jail fights. Representatives from another prison arrive. The warden is taken aback by the arrival of a new fighter. The warden learns that the new fighter has defeated the previous top dog, establishing him as the best fighter. If Warden Lucas refuses to allow Terry to face the new fighter, they will forfeit their wager. Terry faces off against the top fighter from the neighboring prison. He receives all the acclaim as the best boxer on his own soil, while his opponent faces fierce booing. When the fight begins, Terry is clearly the smaller fighter. He's instantly manhandled. Using the narcotics he collected earlier, he creates a distraction to give himself an advantage before striking his opponent. Terry is able to fully dominate the fight once the smoke has cleared. He then tells the inmates to carry out their plan. The convicts begin attacking the jail officers. Because the action is live on pay-per-view, the warden instructs his guards not to shoot. He then uses an elevator to flee. Before he even reaches his office, Terry approaches him. Terry sustains 2 gunshot wounds, but his vest shields him. Bones steps in to assist Terry and knocks up the warden. DEA agents then come and arrest the corrupt warden. Jeanette tells Terry that she utilized the evidence from the chip to notify the authorities and put an end to the prison's corruption and illegal drug trade. She also mentions that he received a full pardon for his role in bringing down the corrupt officials. He's suddenly a free man. In the final scene, Terry is out of prison and reunited with his daughter. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.